be here.
Me as well. All right, so we'll get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sisters on Fire IRL series. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the host, and the fabulous Michele Badie. Is that how you say yours? Badie. Michele Badie is here, and she's going to tell us all about everything that she does. So, without further ado, let's get it started.
Well, I am a career coach, but through my journey of career tipper, I have evolved to being a career podcaster. So it's been about a 5-year journey. I started with me working in career services, and then I went through my own job displacement. The school started to go through the closing down process. It was a for-profit school. And then right before that happened, like maybe 6 months before that happened, I launched Career Tipper initially as an iPhone app, just affirmations, just people to be encouraged through their job search. Then the blog came, then like speaking engagements. I wrote a book called Confidently You, 21-Day Action Plan. And then the beloved podcast. That was my sweet spot. So I've been podcasting. I've had 2 podcasts under Career Tipper, but it has been a great journey. I've been podcasting for about 2 years.
Awesome. Okay. And with all of the different transitions and pivots, I guess, what would you say were key resources that helped you know, okay, time to move, or I need to make a change? What happened for you there?
My audience, whatever they needed, that's who I listen to, because careers, it's what people need. Yes, I can be a research reservoir. That's great. But everyone needs something different. So I feel like my platform changed as the needs of my audience changed, the demographics of my audience changed. And so I had to be flexible and go with them. So I think my most passionate time of Career Tipper has been the past year. I have really been on a campaign of encouraging people to have their skills recharged, because with the age of artificial intelligence continuing to evolve, and just, statistics are brewing about what the future of everything is going to be. I really want people to be prepared, and I don't want anyone to say, Michele, I didn't know. I told you. I put a podcast out about it. I talked to people about it. I went to speaking engagements, because I want to see people maintain their lifestyle. I want to see people be able to continue to have their dreams, and it takes time. It takes time to develop your skills. It takes time to figure out what you enjoy doing. What is that for you? So that's where that is for me. So I really encourage people to keep their skills recharged. Soft skills are top of the mind, but hard skills is equally important. So knowing what that is. So I'm encouraging everyone to read LinkedIn's article on the skills companies need in 2019. I did the first 6 skills and skills recharged podcast series that you can listen on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio. I did the top 3 soft skills, which is creativity, persuasion, and collaboration. And then I did the top 3 hard skills, which was cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and analytical reasoning. I give nuggets. So I just think people need to do their research. It's not about strictly knowing how to code. It's about how to do non-automated skills.
Okay, gotcha. And with what would you say outside of that are some of the key things that people, either trends for new job opportunities or things that people are missing in the interview space? Like what are some of the common career issues that you primarily deal with, either on the blog or in the podcast?
I would say right now my focus is telling everyone to focus on their non-automated skills. That's what's going to stand you out. Are you a communicator? Are you able to do something that a computer is not able to do? So what is that? Creativity is big. I'm really encouraging people to develop creativity. Like, Michele, I'm not creative. I'm like, you are creative. It's a skill. You can teach yourself to be creative. Like, trying a new food is birthing creativity. Like, it's the most unexpected things. So research. I encourage people to read Dr. Kai-Fu Lee's book on artificial intelligence. He gives a roadmap of it in his book. So these are just things that I encourage people to do. If you go to my website, careertipper.com, I created a free guide for people that will break down how to the starting points to getting your skills recharged. Unfortunately, Dr. Kai-Fu Lee's title of the book is not coming to me off the top of my head, but it's KAIFU fu-lee. And I have a free guide for anyone to download on my site. It's called Skills Recharge Guide. And I just break down I get you on your way to figure out what you need to do to keep your skills recharged, competitive, and hire ready.
Perfect. Okay. And for your own career, I guess, what has been maybe some of the skills that you didn't know you needed to have and you had to bolster up, and specific examples of things that you've really either surprised you or things that you've been kind of steadfast with and it's really held the test of time?
For me, personal branding, knowing how to brand yourself. You can go get degrees and all that, but sometimes it's not about a degree. Sometimes it's about a certification. So I say researching your industry, knowing what you need. If you don't need another degree, okay, that's fine, but you might need to get your skill set certified. So I always say, if you're, for sake of conversation, you're a project manager, then you might need to become PMI certified, project management certified, or build a brand. Like you have your brand with Dressing Room 8, I have Career Tipper. People can see that you know how to collaborate, right? This is a collaboration right here. You know how to market yourself. You're demonstrating social media content skills. You know how to create content. You know how to communicate, all that. And these are things employers are looking for. So if you feel like you don't have it in the back, your hobby, which could be this, or your business, which could be this, what we're doing too, depending on how you want to promote yourself. These are things that you can market to an employer, and that has served me well. I've gotten to speak with CEOs and just invited to have a seat at certain tables that if I didn't have Career Tipper, they wouldn't even know I existed. So I always tell people, if nothing else, step out on your own and figure out what you stand for and what you want to promote, and don't shrink back in promoting your skills, and don't despise small beginnings. Like, don't compare your chapter 2 to someone's chapter 20. Well, they have, like, I know, just like Michele is, my leak. I'm sorry, I don't want to say her name wrong because she's so awesome. My leak with the curl box. She just had her amazing retreat.
Oh yeah.
Yes. She had this amazing retreat. And then I was talking to someone and they were like, I want to do that. I said, you can, but don't compare yourself. She's been at this for years and you're at a different space. So start with a small event and you can grow. It's not about duplication. It's about understanding processes, understanding what works. And you can always shine through that, but don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just understand the process.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Now, it's interesting you're suggesting that what's really key for people to distinguish themselves in this workplace is to really dive deep into the creative space and use things that are not automated. So what would be your advice for people who maybe have a small startup, or they do freelance work, but they also want to have a foothold in kind of traditional working environments? Do you feel like people don't know how to manage that 9 to 5 and the entrepreneurial, or, you know, do they hide one? Can you effectively do both? And if
you can effectively do both. You can effectively do both. Oh, and the name of it came to me, AI Superpowers. AI Superpowers by Dr. Kai-Fu Lee. My apologies, and I didn't write it down. Yes, I definitely think that you can manage both. I myself manage both. I think that everyone needs multiple, just with the way everything's going, from my perception and my suggestion, I feel like you need multiple streams of income. You need to determine what that is for you. I encourage everyone to do your research. We are going into a freelance community. Our global workplace is going, to a freelance environment. So it's about a projected, if you go to Career Builder, I believe they projected a 60-40 freelancing and 60% perm. Wow. You have to check that. But I'm just saying, like, that is out there. And then I saw recently where Google was not fighting, but petitioning for more benefits for their part-time freelance workers, because that's where things are going. So I just feel like more people need to understand what the compass of the global workforce is, and how they play in that with their industry, how the hiring trends are going to be and what it's going to do. Traditional hiring is transitioning into more flexibility. People are working from home. People are, your colleagues can be in another country. What does that really mean when you're promoting yourself online? If you're putting your resume out there, it is Career Builder. They just made another investment with Text Kernel, where they can upgrade their artificial intelligence to where when they're looking at resumes, it's looking for skills more than anything. So people need to understand what their skill set is. They need to understand what they bring to the table. And I always tell people to go to sites like freeup.com, upwork.com, and just look at the skills that they're hiring from a freelance perspective. And I know for some people it could be alarming and jarring, like, I don't have this skill. I say don't get worried, get excited, because now you get to find out what you know how to do. If you're an HR person for, HR, there are HR skills that people need. If you're a content creator, they need that. If it's a lawyer, they need it. You have a skill set. You just have to figure out what you're going to do. So like, for example, if you're interested in cloud computing, okay, they don't need you to be a master of all trades or all aspects of it. They don't need that. They need you to pick a niche or niche, however you want to say it, potato, potato. Pick your niche and figure out what you want to do. So it's like, don't get overwhelmed with the massive aspect of it. Find what works for you and grow in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think active learning is key. Like it's actually a skill that people list now on their resume, active learning.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. And that constitutes, I guess, like people who are just constantly taking courses, going to conferences, stuff, that kind of thing.
It shows that you're willing to learn, because in the age of artificial intelligence that we're working in, you're going to have to continue to learn. So, for example, companies like Rakuten, they had an article recently where they were saying that they are in the stages of determining if they're going to require all of their employees to learn how to code. It's not just the basics of it. Not because not because you are going to necessarily do coding, but if you're working for a major company that their competition is Amazon, they want you to understand all aspects of the business. So when you're sitting in meetings giving ideas and suggestions, you are giving it from a place of intelligence, and you understand what you're saying. You're not just randomly saying it, because if you understand how the system works, then you can give a more informed answer. Another company that's kind of following the same suit is Nokia. They're in the process of having some entry-level employees, but they're in the process of like maybe making it a company-wide thing where you have to learn the basics of machine learning. So I say either you get it together now, or someone's going to help you get it together for you. So that's just where I stand with that suggestion, because you want to choose your job. You want to make sure you make what you want to make. So I tell people it's not an overnight, not for everyone's not going to be overnight. So it might take you 9 months. It might take you 2 years, but you want to choose the job you do. You don't want to be defaulted into a job and you didn't even realize it. Someone I know through working with Career Tipper, they've been in finance for many, many years. I'll say, for sake of the interview, over 20 years. They've always been a finance executive. But they said that they shared with me that they got to a point to where they have now transitioned themselves. Instead of looking for a 9-to-5 executive job, they position themselves as a freelancer, where they go through, they meet with different startups and offer their their expertise as a freelancer. It's
like as a consultant, right?
As a consultant. But this is the kick. Yeah. They bank, if they agree, they sign the contract, they get 100 hours into I think it's 100 hours. We'll say 100 for sake of conversation, until they make a profit. Then they pay them. And then if they want to keep them on, they up the rate. And so they work with different people. Now, this is someone that's been in the industry for over 20 years. They said they have colleagues that missed the boat, wasn't paying attention to the algorithm of the working landscape, and some of his colleagues are like Uber.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. So now,
It's just
I
you
guess,
got to make sure you know what you're doing, right? If you're like, well, I
yeah.
got a degree from 19, da 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 da. Okay, that might not work right now in 2019, or even 5 years ago, right?
Absolutely. So now when you say like get it together, right? Completely love it. Love the sentiment, love the practicality of that. What does step one mean of like get it together? Is it like going to certain resource spots? Is it networking? Like how do you get started?
My number one step for step one is know what type of lifestyle you want and what the cost of it is. So you know what you're working for, right? So I don't, people, I want to make a lot of money. Well, $10 might mean a lot to you, and to me, I'm like, what are you gonna do with $10? So it's all down to your personal definition of what that is. So my thing is define your lifestyle. What does it cost to do that? Do you make enough now, or is your savings where it needs to be? Like, what is your plan? And then find something that's within that. So if it's like, if you have a passion, you're like, Michelle, I just want to be a content creator. Okay, well then we all know content creator might need a supplemental income until you grow your following or you decide what you're going to do. Okay, so what other two income streams can you do? How do you manage that? Is it one where you make money in your sleep? Are you going to save more and do finance stuff? I don't know what you're going to do. You got to figure this out. And then are you going to freelance on the side? Or do you need to go and get a certification that will increase you if you can jump within your current employer? Will that give you the pay bump you need? And what is the longevity of it? Because for some of us, the jobs that we're doing now will not exist a year from now or 2 years from now. And for some of us, the jobs that we're going to be doing 2 years from now have not even been created.
Gotcha. Okay. So really the future is all about strategy and like, I guess being very specific and intentional about who you are in this landscape and who you are in life, and I guess trying to back into it. So it's about, I guess, getting very real, which I don't know if our society promotes too much about that, but that's interesting. Okay. And now for yourself, you said that based on your audience and kind of you really paying attention, you were able to make pivots. What would you say has been the most important lesson you've learned of all the things you've done so far in your career?
Being an active learner and being, number one, being an active learner. I have learned so much that I probably had no interest in 3 years ago, but I want to know. I need to know, and I want to be able to. I want to make an informed statement, not random statement. Like I know, like some people, for example, I like to follow Ayesha Curry. Right? I think she's great.
Yeah,
I like Ayesha.
She's adorable. Yes, she's so cute. Yes,
I love me some Ayesha. And I was talking to a colleague, and they were like, well, why would you follow Ayesha Curry? I'm like, please be informed. Please, please, please be informed. This lady is amazing.
Oh, like, she's a mogul. She's adorable. I love her. Fabulous. Shout out to Ayesha Curry.
Yeah, she's a chef. She's an author. She has a tech company. She has her online store. She does collaborations like no one's business. GoDaddy, Lowe's. Like she had an herb garden, like she's doing her thing. She has a culinary home meal prep delivery. Like she's doing it. Like
I love her. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm
she seems like a really nice person too. Absolutely.
Exactly. So I'm like, what is Ayesha doing? Like, okay. And then I would also say it's really good just to offer support to a colleague and not get caught up all the time in, I think it was Issa Rae in one of her social media posts. She's like, she networks across. It's not always about networking up. Sometimes it's about networking across. Which I think is fabulous advice. But I also say just help people. Like everything, yes, you need to pay for. I do believe in paying for people's services. I'm all for that. Yeah. But at the same time, if we're doing the same thing, it's nothing wrong with just sharing. Hey, I learned this. You might want to check this out. When people are like, oh, I have this amazing app and it helped me. Well, what is the name of the app that helped you? Like share because you're creating a reservoir for it to come back to you. Like
Absolutely.
there's so many elements to the professional development, but you have to continue to work on your people skills, right? So what does that mean?
Yeah.
And I would say that too. Another thing that's helped me is continuing to work on my people skills. You know,
Mm.
talking to people, when not to talk to people, when to go to certain things, like, you know, how to say things to people. It's all about the delivery, right? No, I'm serious, Natasha. It is about the
You said
delivery.
knowing when not to talk to me. That's amazing.
You
You
can't
had me
say
there.
everything. You can't say
That's a hard
everything.
lesson that I have learned. It has kicked my ass. That's a good lesson right there. Yes.
But I
Absolutely.
think that's wisdom, and people want wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
People want to trust
Yeah.
someone that knows when to speak and when not to speak. And I say, know what battles to fight, because every battle is not for you to
Mm-hmm.
fight, right? So some people like,
Yeah.
this is my, I don't know, for sake of conversation, this is my, I create this product, but you
Yeah.
work for so and so, so they own that product. It's not like, you got to know when to fight for inclusion and when to fight for
Yeah.
territory.
Absolutely. Okay.
There's a
And I would
difference.
also absolutely. And I would also love for you to share, being a person of color, being a woman, how has your career been affected by those identifiers?
I think for me the biggest challenge I've had when it comes to my career sometimes is my choice of hairstyles.
Oh, interesting. I did not think you were going there. Oh, okay. Please elaborate.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
welcome,
Mhm.
sometimes it's not. It just depends.
And when you
It's
say
never,
not welcome, is it overt or?
I just think some people have a perception of what natural hair should look like.
Yeah.
And some people might perceive it as not professional, and some people might perceive it as professional. I think it depends on
Mm,
demographics. I think it depends on who's making that decision on what professional
yeah.
is, be it in an HR role or the person hiring or just someone that's working with you. I
Yeah.
think it just depends on
Yeah.
understanding differences. And I think it also comes down to how you respond to it. You can't rant in response, and you can't be defensive in response,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to be,
Mm-hmm.
as Michelle Obama, go high, right? So
Yeah.
what does that look
Yeah.
like? And I would say for me, it's been my hair.
Oh, interesting. Wow. So did you see the Netflix movie with Sanaa Lathan and Napoli Ever After, based on the
No,
book?
I haven't. I know I
Oh,
haven't.
wow. You
I
should,
will.
because I think you would really resonate with that, a couple of scenes that really speak to what you're talking about. And
I'm
I would
sure.
say, given my big mane, I've similarly had people, I'm a lawyer by trade, right? And definitely had actually a person who was in, a higher position in the school and administration and turn to me and be like, you're not getting a job with all of that. Right. And so, yeah, it is interesting to see what the professional interpretation of professional looks are. And it's sad even when you get that type of visceral and visceral kind of speaking within your own community, right? And
Yeah.
that was a career lesson that I learned, that not everyone for you will even look like you. And
And
that was a harsh
fortunate,
one.
yes, and fortunately for me, like in most recent years, it hasn't been an issue, but this is not the first time I've worn my hair like this. So earlier on in my career, it was an issue, but I think that has taught me how to overcome that, like I'm sure you have. But in recent years, it
Yeah,
hasn't been a factor. But I always tell, image does matter. I don't care what anybody says, image does
of course.
matter. How you carry yourself matters. Of course, what you say matters, but we all are judged. And some people are like, accept me for who I am. And I'm like, we can, but there's also, we can do that. That's not a problem. But we need to make sure that we represent excellence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what does that look like? So does it mean you have to conform a little bit, but yet at the same time, you wear the red lipstick, or You make sure you have the makeup on. Like, it's a package. So make sure that image is amazingly sharp, that you're representing at your best, especially professionally.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially why I started my company, Dress and Mate, because it was really to help women understand not only how to use like social media and entrepreneurship to further their goals of being happier and more fulfilled, but also understanding the value of presentation, because it is absolutely important. The first thing you see is visual. You can't see how intelligent or how empathetic and all of that. You don't see inside, you see the outside, and people make a judgment call and they decide if they want to work with you. They decide if your value, the value you bring to this world, to the space, and it can be devastating if you don't own the presentation. And you are right. I think to a certain degree, certain industries, you have to make that decision. You have to decide compromise, no compromise, and then, you know, even if you do compromise, how do you make the compromise work for you? Like I say, like being Jamaican, you know, if I'm going to wear a suit, it's going to be a red one, right? It's going to be a purple one. Like, I'm going to bring a little bit of color, a little bit of vibrance to my life if I have to button up and, you know, kind of be in that space. But it doesn't mean who you are, the essence of you dies. It's just, you have to work harder to present it in the way that you want, right? But yeah, it's
who's the young lady out of I think, oh gosh, I might say her name wrong. Boz. Gosh, she's amazing. She's like a marketing executive.
Oh, okay, yes, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think she represents that, like, on a whole nother level. Like, I'm like, I admire you. Like, she showed up, she put a post out one day and she had a hair bonnet on. And she said she wore that to her executive meeting via Skype. And I was like, you know, she was having a bad hair day. Like, it wasn't her normal thing. Yeah. But I was like, wow, like, I would be like upset. But I was like, go girl.
Yeah, you have to also own it. You know, if you can't show up with a level of presence and confidence, you cannot expect the world to put that into you. That is an inside person job. And yeah, sometimes shit's not working. Like, sometimes I wear my hair in braids and it's like, maybe because I just didn't have time to get to it. Maybe because I just feel like rocking it. Either way, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be like, hey. And yeah, and people are like magnetized to confidence. So it's essentially, I tell people, it's like Queen Bee. You think Queen Bee walks into the room like, oh, do people like me? Like, she's Queen Bee. I mean,
yeah, she owns
walk
it.
into your life and take up space and do it confidently.
Yeah, totally. Now, Bozama, I'm sure I'm butchering her name. I'm sorry if she ever knows this, but yeah, she owns it. She's a corporate person that owns it, and she owns it well. Yeah, like, she'll bust out in song. I'm like, you go, girl. Yes, like, yes, I love it.
Awesome. Well, I do want to kind of switch gears a little bit to the Sisters on Fire conversation, which is what brings us here tonight. So Sisters on Fire is a play actually formerly known as Diary of a Mad Black Feminist. And it was started by two professors, one my mother-in-law, Marcia McNair, and another Anissa Moore. And they really were frustrated with not seeing some of the Black woman narrative in theater. So they created this beautiful play. It's been produced and sold out at all these different theaters. And so I created the Sisters on Fire IRL series online because I was like, well, they're like real sisters on fire and we should hear from them. And obviously you are clearly one. So when you hear the term, absolutely. When you hear the term Sisters on Fire, what does that mean to you?
You are living your best life. You are doing the most for you, be it self-care, be it mental wellness, be it rest, be it educating yourself, pushing your brand. You know what? Another thing that I'm really feeling right now when I talk to other like goal getters is being okay with pressing pause. Being okay with us and doing something else and coming back. Being okay with changing your mind. Being okay to say, I need a break from this. I'll come back, but I'm going to come back better because I want to take my own advice. I think that's an undercurrent going on right now for various people in different industries. And I love that they're choosing to honor it versus burn themselves out. I think that is on fire because you are choosing yourself. You are choosing your legacy.
Absolutely.
You are choosing the longevity of your life. So I'm like, woo, woo, go. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's important. Again, I was just talking to another entrepreneur and I was telling people, at the end of the day, your life isn't a democracy. You're not out here polling people to decide what your next move is. Like, you have to always choose you for your wellness, for your happiness, for your success. And at the time, sometimes, yeah, in life, you have to pause. Like, I'm going to be relocating from New York to Arizona. And, there might not be a time that I can do something on social media or, things like that. And you've got to be like, you know what, it is what it is. Like, you've got to make decisions. And for me, at least, yeah, I'm done with New York. And like, I can't, I'm just like, no, I can't.
You have the balloon, you have the shirt. You're like, okay. Well,
yeah, I've
exciting.
given it my 30 plus years of living here. I've given it to you. I can't. Like, you're good. Like, and I don't know. For me, are you in the tri-state area as well or no?
No, I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, so you enjoy happier weather. See, here it's like really crappy weather, and I'm choosing something different and better, and yeah. But
congratulations.
That's good. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yes. What part of Florida?
Oh, I'm in Central Florida. I'm in Central Florida, like
okay,
Orlando
fun.
area.
Fun. Okay,
Yep.
I lived in Brandon for a little bit. That was fun. I like that.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
It sounds like you have like this inner sun child that you need to feed. Yes. If you're going to Arizona. Definitely. So yeah.
I need to, definitely. I like that phrasing. Now, for you in your life, who would you say have been sisters on fire for you?
Lately, I am on the Michelle Obama train. I have always been on the Michelle Obama train. Let me not act like I didn't know about Michelle. I'm on the Michelle Obama train, but I've been listening to her book, Becoming, and it is very, very like confirming, inspiring, thought-provoking. Absolutely. So I would definitely say Michelle Obama, and just right now, women that are embracing interest. So I can't say it's just one particular person. There's another lady here locally. Her name is Best Hour. I'm very inspired by her. She created a blogging conference. What I like about Bess is that she constantly shifts. But within her, like her blogging conference, Florida BlogCon, is amazing, right? It started from when she was the teacher in the class cafeteria of the school she worked in, and now it's sponsored by Full Sail University and hosted at Full Sail University. But from there, she's done she's done TV shows. She's had a podcast. She's now doing her first magazine. There's just different people. I'm inspired by women in culinary. I have a thing about just trying something new. Food is like
absolutely
that whole thing. And then I like it when I meet people I haven't met, like yourself. I'm just like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, whether you have a huge following or a big following, I'm just like, it doesn't matter. You're doing it. Like, you're not sitting on the sideline of your life critiquing. And I feel like on this journey of like being a creator, I think what I really will have to your perspective of what it takes to be successful evolves, and that that judgment piece kind of eliminates itself, because you know yourself what it takes to get up and write the email. You know what it takes to get up and schedule and look for someone to be on this live. You know, like, you get the hustle that is tied to it. So it's like, I'm not saying you give someone a pass, but you're like, can I help them? Or do I just need to encourage them? Or do they need to just keep going? Because one thing, since I've been in this whole blogging, podcast, content, creative space, I don't really sense competition. I sense more collaboration and amazing camaraderie. And so when people like, I can do it better than them, I'm like, oh, you haven't done it yet. I just stop people in the conversation. I'm like, no, if you're saying that, you have not interacted with anyone within the industry of like doing something like that, because I can do it better is not language that we talk. It's not language that we speak. We just don't say that. We want to help each other. And I've even had people like if the collaboration didn't work, I've always had people come back, or I've gone to people like, do we need to have a debriefing? Like, do we need to talk about our wins and lessons? Like, I want to make sure we're good, whether we work together again or not. Let's make sure we got the lessons. I'm like, okay. I like that.
Yeah. I think, it depends on your mindset, right? I don't know if you're like a fan of like the law of attraction or the secret, but I'm definitely a practitioner and a fan of that. And I think, if you come from the space of the world is limitless opportunity, right? And that there's enough pie in the sky for everyone, then you absolutely know you have the know-how and the foresight not to get into the comparison game, because that's a lose-lose proposition, right? Because like you said earlier, we're all in our own different chapters. So like, even if our chapters are similar, they're still different because we all come from different spaces. So, we just need to stay in our lane. Gary Vaynerchuk, if anyone's a fan of Gary V, he's like, cut the crap, stop looking and judging, stay in your lane. And if you're out here talking about everybody else, you're not doing enough on you. So you obviously need to hustle harder. You need to hustle better, because if you were, you wouldn't give a shit about what's happening around you. And
you
also,
don't have time.
I don't know if you're familiar with this book, Create or Hate by Dan Norris. If not, you should totally pick it up. You'll love it.
What is it?
Create or Hate by Dan Norris. It's amazing. Essentially, he breaks down the world into two people, creators and haters. And sadly, you read the book and you're like, yes. And so you have that like real conversation of like, I'm a hater right now. I'm a creator right now. and it's all about different topics and different things about that. So just like read that, you'll love it. It's on Amazon. It's amazing. And he has other entrepreneurial books that you'll probably will really love. I think he has a new one that just came out as well. So definitely, life is too short to be busy and bothering about other people. Do you? What do you want? As you were saying, especially when it comes to your career, things are happening super quick and rapid, and like you totally informed me about things I had no clue about. So I'm definitely going to be getting up on my coding. I know a little bit of code, but I don't know all that.
I had someone correct me recently. I was at an event and someone, I'm not a tech person. I'm more of a project management person. So I was encouraging coding, and they were like, Michelle, they said coding. And they kind of went off a comment, because I was like, our kids know how to code. Yeah. Our kids have college knowledge, where when we were growing up, we didn't have access to college knowledge on the level that kids have now. They can go on Udemy, they can go to Udacity, and get all this stuff. And so they were encouraging me to research, because, coding is coming a lot of automated, there's a lot of automated platforms. So they were encouraging me to research cybersecurity more and find your niche in cybersecurity. So with you having a law background, what does that look like for you? Because that is where the need is right now in cyber. It's a huge landscape. So what does that mean? So I say yes, definitely see if coding does interest you. MySQL, Python, all that, great.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Also research cybersecurity and how it relates to your background.
Okay, awesome. So with that, I would love for you to now share a bit more about like what's going on in your world. So do you have upcoming episodes on the podcast that people should check out? The blog, events, what are things, how can people champion you?
I'm practicing my own advice right now, and I am taking a self-development, professional development pause. I am. Okay. Yep. The last episode aired. So I'm encouraging everyone right now just to listen to the podcast. It can help you. So listen to the podcast. That's all I want people to do right now is listen to the podcast. If you want more help, download my free guide, Skills Recharged, at careertipper.com. But right now I'm recharging my own skills. I'm practicing what I preach, and I'm sharpening my skills and getting my creative juices flowing. And I'm excited to come back later and share it, because I don't want anyone to say, how can you tell us this and you don't do it yourself? So I don't want to be a hypocrite. So I'm practicing what I preach.
Okay, so I'll share that in the comments. Check out the podcast here.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher Radio.
Perfect.
iTunes, Stitcher Radio. I think I'm missing one. Oh, iTunes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Beautiful. That's amazing. So yes, when you, again, we chat whenever whenever you're done from the professional pause and you are back and you're hitting it, let me know so that I can help champion you, because that's, I think for me, Sisters on Fire is all about community. It's about a woman who can see the brilliance and glory in others, and we push each other forward, and we celebrate each other, because it's a victory to be alive, but it's an even bigger victory to be a part of people's lives and to work together. Women are stronger together. We have to.
We are.
And it doesn't even require money. It's a like, it's a share, it's a tell a friend, and you can, from that organic reach, you can do so much in world. But people, come from this limited, there's not enough, this kind of desperate, and it breaks my heart, because it's like we're standing in our own way. It's literally like walking forward, then walking 10 steps back. Like it's a waste of time. But yes, okay, so check out the podcast, check out the website, and then I guess last minute words of wisdom, something that you wish you knew in the beginning of your career that you now can tell the Sisters on Fire family.
Trust your gut. It's not wrong. And be okay with putting your time in to develop yourself. Be okay with staying in a job. Do your checks and balances. Like some people are like, well, I don't have the title, but can you master the job? Can you master the skill? The titles will come. One thing that is very clear, and as I talk to people, the title will come and the pay will come if you're strategic with your professional development.
I love that. Yeah. So get it together, y'all. Get it together. get it together. Absolutely. Yes. Well, yes, everyone go to careertipper.com. Thank you for tuning in to the Sisters on Fire IRL series. You'll see this not only here on Facebook, but we will also have the replay on YouTube so people can share it there as well. And just thank you for being a Sister on Fire. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom and all your information. You're a wonderful reservoir of information. And I appreciate you, sister. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye.